This is part two. Well, this will be part one because I deleted the first part. I ain't want to keep it. So we gonna roll right into the lesson, y'all. Y'all roll back up in here. So we was talking about Mark Henry, and we were beginning to look at his metrics and who he was. All right. So Mark Henry, birth name Mark Gerald Henry, born June 12, 1971. He's 50 years old right now. He entered this realm in the state of Silsbee, Texas. Okay. This is stats. He's 6'4" and 360 pounds. I want you to pay attention that he made his debut in professional wrestling, which is what he's known for. He's famous for not for who he really is. He's famous for being a professional wrestler, and that's not who this God is. Okay, he came here to be something totally different, to do something totally different, and they hid this guy and made him become a professional wrestler. All right. Debut March 11, 1996. All right. So let's read about Mark Henry. Mark Gerald Henry, born June 12, 1971, is an American power lifter, Olympic weightlifter, strongman, and retired professional wrestler, currently signed to All Elite Wrestling. Okay. He is best known for his 25-year career, like I was just telling you, in WWE, which we know wrestling is fake. It is not real. All right. Where he was a two-time world champion. He is a two-time Olympian. That's what you pay attention to. Pay attention to the weightlifter him, the power lifter him. That's the real him. All right. They hid him in WWE and made him result to being a professional wrestler because they didn't want people to know about DEA. All right. They want to keep this hidden about the genetics of us and what we are and the dark matter energy that we possess. And we're going to find out more as we learn more about Mark Henry. All right. So he is a two-time Olympian, winning in 92 and 96, and a gold, silver, and bronze medalist at the Pan American Games in 1995. As a power lifter, he was WDFPF World Champion in 95 and a two-time U.S. National Champion in 95 and 97. Pay attention to all this stuff because he was dominating weightlifting and powerlifting. All right. Natural brute strength, never used steroids, never used to even use knee straps. All right. We gonna see the things this guy was doing and that they wanted to hide from the world because they found out something when they started testing him about the DEA. They found out more about the DEA through Mark Henry. Running tests on Mark Henry. All right. So when they discovered that this was something that not only Mark Henry possessed, this DEA, which they thought they had locked down, this is when they was finding out about how the sun still affects us. Regardless of them blocking it, it doesn't stop us from receiving the downloads and the nutrients from the sun. Okay, so they found out a lot of this dealing with Mark Henry, running tests on him and things of that nature because they couldn't figure out how this God was this strong naturally. All right, and I'm going to go into some of the things he was doing. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to watch some video. But what he was doing was flat out amazing. All right, and that's what people would consider it, but it's not really amazing. He was just tapping into the DEA just a little bit. Just a little bit. He tapped into 10% of the DEA. All right? He just tapped into 10% of it, and they was scared of that. All right, let's keep reading, though. All right, so currently, he still holds the WDFPF world records. We talking 25 years later. He still holds these records, y'all. Well, 05, 15... 20, shit, what you talking? 25, man. 26 years later, he still holds the world records in the squat, deadlift, and total raw pounds ever lift. He is credited for the biggest raw squat and raw powerlifting total ever performed by a drug-tested athlete. Pay attention. Mark Henry. He is credited for the biggest raw squat and raw powerlifting total ever performed by a drug-tested athlete, regardless of weight class, as well as the greatest raw deadlift by an American citizen, period. Mark Henry. Majority of your athletes that lift weights, even today, they all use drugs. These Olympians, they be using drugs. Okay? We talk about since 1996 in the Atlanta Olympics, which was when they forced him. Look, he debuted it in 1996 at the Atlanta Olympics. In the Olympic Games, it was in Atlanta. Even though they wasn't held in March, this was his debut of that same year. Okay? He was so dominant with raw strength, they made that man retire the same year after the Atlanta Olympics. Hey, man, you do me a favor. I need you to put the iPad on the charger for it dies at 6%. I think the charger is in the thing. I don't want to move the camera. Thank you. All right, so I want y'all to focus in on that now. So this is where the world's strongest man come from. This title that he got. Because nobody, thank you, babe. Nobody to this day, we got peanut butter crackers left? You hand me one, please. Nobody to this day has done it. We talking almost 30 years later. He still holds the records in squat, and deadlift, and total pounds ever lifted. And he is still credited for the biggest raw squat and raw powerlifting total ever performed by a drug-tested athlete. Not to mention today, they don't even test the athletes like that lift this weight like they used to, because they don't. They want to stay entertaining. And most of today's athletes are straight weaklings who are using steroids. Period. Facts. So they don't even test them no more like that in Olympic weightlifting like they used to. Now, he did all of this by the age of 25. By 19, he was viewed as the world's strongest man. By 25, in 1996, they made him retire. Because God had tapped into his DEA, right? And they came to him. They started running tests on Mark Henry. And they were trying to figure out how was he this strong naturally, right? They had never seen nothing like this before in their life. You know, most Olympic weightlifters, even Arnold Schwarzenegger and them niggas. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger them was juicing up in the 70s. So, despite all the fluoride they put in the water and all the things they do to keep our DEA down so that we don't have this, because we all naturally possess superhuman speed, superhuman strength. Like, we are so much stronger and faster and so much more intelligent than you could ever even know. But it's all in your DEA. Okay? This is what the fight is against. The fight has always been against your DEA to keep it locked. Do you know that if your DEA was 100% unlocked, you basically would be doing everything you see the superheroes on TV doing and more. Times 1,000, though. All right? So, they came to him at the tender age of 19, and they was trying to get him to start juicing up, using steroids, and they wanted him to